the world are watching this take place. We're listening for we're hoping that things come out okay, and this has everybody's attention. And remember, this represents another one of those paradigm shifts where everybody's attention is focused on some great event that's happening, and everybody all over the world is watching this thing. You have JFK being killed, and really for the first time an assassination of an American president captured on film and reported all over the world, and everybody's, everybody remembers where they were when this happened. The moon landing, the 9/11 event. Everybody remembers where they were and what they were doing on this particular day. It's jammed in our memory. It was intended to be an awakening experience, is what it was intended to be. And so here we have what I truly believe was a ritual performed on Wednesday, October the 13th, 2010. The whole process of the miners being trapped and then released is a ritual of which I will explain what that means. I will use sources from the Bible. I will use sources such as, I don't think I have any quotes from Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma, but Manly Hall, who wrote The Secret Teachings of All Ages. He has a lot to say about things like this. But you see rituals in a lot of religious settings. Wiccans and Satanists, they use rituals. They perform certain ceremonies at certain times of day with certain things in place, and they have special things that supposedly have magical powers, and they have to do all of these things and say all of these words in order to invoke whatever power it is they're trying to tap into. Even in Roman Catholicism, and I would say in most, probably all of your Orthodox-based, ritual-based Christian denominations, where they say, we have this ritual here that we perform, and we say these words, and we do this thing, and we do our hands like this, and the Catholic priest holds the Eucharist up toward God, and he says the magic words, and he does all of these things. They are prescribed rituals. If you see a Catholic Mass in one part of the world and go to another part of the world and see a Catholic Mass, you're seeing the same thing. Because the idea is that rituals, when performed the right way, speaking the right words, that they will invoke the power of the deity that they're trying to invoke. In other words, the God that they serve cannot operate any other way unless you do all of these little things here. That doesn't happen to be the God that I believe in. The God that I believe in does not operate by way of rituals, rites, prescribed words, secret handshakes, certain buildings that he'll only walk into, because the God I serve doesn't dwell in temples made with hands. He's not invoked by you proclaiming faith-filled words like Benny Hinn and Kenneth Copeland and Joyce Myers tells you have to, and Joel Osteen tell you have to say all these faith-filled words the right way in order to invoke this faith consciousness that God has, and then all of a sudden you're rich. See, it worked for me. By the way, send me in $100 this week, okay? No wonder it worked for them. But anyway, I don't believe in a God, and I don't serve a God that has to be invoked by rituals. I don't. They will tell you that if you want your prayers answered, you must pray these faith-filled, positive confession words, and then you will create your own reality. That's witchcraft. It's witchcraft is what it is. I believe in the God who David said, I cried unto the Lord, and He heard me. I believe in the God whom Paul said, for we know not what to pray, but the Spirit helpeth our infirmities. I believe in the God that is simple. And the Apostle Paul told us in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, he said, would to God you could bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me, for I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve. Think about it. through His subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ. So in other words, He's saying that there is a simplicity. When you're 8 years old, you can say, God, would you save me? And God will save you. And that's really all there is. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And there are even these people out there, buddy, I'm fixing to go off. There are even these people out there that saying, well, if you're not saying Yahushua or Yeshua or Yeheshua or Yahushua HaMashiach, if you're not saying that, then you're not calling to the right God. You're praying to Zeus, the Greek god of thunder, and you are a pagan and you're going to go to hell. They've even rewritten the entire King James Bible and excluded every word where it says Jesus, took it out, threw it in the trash, put in their own, which is not supported by any manuscript in the world, put in their own word, Yahushua. And see, they even fight amongst themselves about who's saying it right and who's not. It's witchcraft. And I said so. God is not invoked by saying His name correctly. Moses had a speech impediment. Where does that leave him? But they remove people from the simplicity that is in Christ Jesus. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And they said, see, you're not saying His name right, so you're not saved. I don't like people that remove people away from the free grace of Jesus Christ and add complicated things to something that was always intended to be simple. I don't like it. Because he says in the next verse, for if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye received another Spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, you might well bear with him. In other words, Paul said, you won't put up with me, but if some guy comes in with another Jesus, and another gospel, and another Spirit, yeah, you'll like him. You'll follow him all the way into the pits of hell is where you'll follow him. So the question is, these miners, he's 33 coming out of the pit. Is this a picture of Jesus? Or is it a picture of another Jesus? Let's look at what happened. Let's look at the facts. And let's see what the conclusion that the facts draw us into. Now, I mentioned a while ago rituals. I believe that this was a ritual. I believe that 9/11 was a ritual. I believe that the JFK assassination was a ritual. These rituals, and here's the definition of the word ritual. I like to look at etymology, what a word really is at its root. The word rite, early 14th century is where it's first used, from the Latin ritus, which means religious observance or ceremony, custom, usage. It is perhaps based upon a Greek word, arithmos, which is where we get the word arithmetic, which means to number something. Now, I want you to get this, because in almost all rituals, there is some amount of numerology. Okay, there's a certain amount of, whether it's tarot cards, there's numerology involved. Whether it's the Catholic Mass, there's numerology involved. Whether it's witchcraft, there's numerology involved. Whether it's Freemasonry with its degrees and levels and steps, those steps are numbered in a ritual fashion. You cannot go to a Freemason and say, I want to become a Freemason, and he says, well, here, let me sign this piece of paper, you sign it, and you're a Mason. They don't do it that way. You have to go through the numbers, the steps, the rites. When you achieve the rites, and when you perform the rites in the right manner, then you're worthy enough to receive the illumination that comes as a result of it. I don't believe in that God. I don't. I don't serve that God. I serve the God that says, call unto me and I will answer thee and show thee great and mighty things that thou knowest not. By the way, it's Jeremiah 33:3. Okay? Here's what Manly Hall said concerning rituals, concerning the secret nature of rituals. He said, concealed within the emblematic figures, allegories, and rituals of the ancients is a secret doctrine. Let me stop right here. Albert Pike did say, I will roughly quote from the book 33 here, Morals and Dogma. Albert Pike said,